In July 2015, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa. Before the trip, the team leader suggested that we should have professional equipment for such a challenging mountain climb and recommended a well-known international brand. I went to the brand's offline store and found a pair of climbing shoes that I liked. Luckily, there was a promotion that day, and the shoes were only 2,182 yuan. However, I checked online and found that the same shoes were only 1,188 yuan on JD.com, which was almost half the price of the offline store even after the discount. Why was there such a big price difference between the two stores for the same shoes? It was not because the online store was losing money or the offline store was being dishonest. The difference was actually caused by the different sales models and the resulting different markup rates. Markup rate refers to the ratio of the retail price to the cost price. For example, if the cost of producing a phone is 1,000 yuan and it is sold for 3,000 yuan, the markup rate is 3 times. This is an important basic business logic that many merchants may not want consumers to know. In different industries, what is the typical markup rate? Concept: markup rate. Markup rate is the ratio of the retail price of a product to its cost price. For a product that costs 100 yuan, if it is sold for 500 yuan, the markup rate is 5 times. In the footwear and clothing industry, the markup rate is generally 5 to 10 times. In the cosmetics industry, the markup rate is generally 20 to 50 times. Case study: when buying a pair of international brand hiking shoes, the specialty store offers a discount price of 2,182 yuan, while the price on JD.com is only 1,188 yuan, which is about half the price online compared to offline. Due to the different cost structures, a markup of 5 to 10 times is reasonable for offline sales, while a markup of 3 times is reasonable for online sales. Different operating methods result in different operating efficiencies, which lead to significant differences in markup rates. For a very famous cosmetics brand, one of its products has a suggested retail price of about 1,000 yuan, but its cost price is only a little over 20 yuan. These numbers can be found in the cost control section of NetEase. As long as an industry has gone through years of adjustment, it will eventually form a relatively stable markup rate, which must have its rationality. Going back to the hiking shoes example, a markup rate of 5 to 10 times is reasonable for offline sales due to the cost structure, and no one is making excessive profits from it. Similarly, a markup rate of 3 times is reasonable for online sales due to the cost structure. Different operating methods result in different operating efficiencies, which lead to significant differences in markup rates. So, as a business operator, should we aim for a higher or lower markup rate? Is there any standard? In fact, the standard is the weapon in your hand. If your weapon is innovation, that is, you can create something that others cannot, then you have the qualifications to choose a business model with a higher markup rate and use a relatively large price difference to give yourself more room to maneuver, because others cannot do what you can. If your weapon is not innovation but efficiency, then you have the qualifications to wield the sword of markup rates and cut down the rates one by one, gaining a competitive advantage in the market and even overturning an industry. Application scenario: the publishing industry is composed of authors, publishers, printing factories, and Xinhua bookstore. The most core knowledge is created by the authors, but they can only get about 10% of the book price. In other words, the markup rate in the publishing industry is about 10 times. Is this reasonable? Yes, it is very reasonable, and it is the distribution rule that has been formed in this industry for many years. New China bookstore generally sells at full price. Dangdang, because it does not have huge offline operating costs, offers new books at least 20% off, and even has prices at 30% or 40% off. Kindle e-readers do not even need to print paper, so e-books are cheaper than discounted paper books. Jidian Chinese website has a group of people writing serials and another group paying to read them, without even needing to publish. With technological progress, the same content is being offered at lower prices, allowing consumers to obtain the same value for less. In summary, how to set the fixed multiplier for a product? Should we set the fixed multiplier higher or lower? It depends on the weapon you have in your hand. If your weapon is innovation, meaning you can create something that others cannot, then boldly increase the fixed multiplier. If your weapon is efficiency, then you have the right to pick up the multiplier knife and cut through the inefficient aspects under today's technology, gaining a disruptive competitive advantage. The fixed multiplier is an important standard and basic logic for observing the structure and efficiency of different industries. Have you learned it?